So you end up buying a rental, you're all excited, but then you find out that you have a bed bug infestation. Not good. So I'll tell you a little story. The last apartment building we bought, we got it for cheap, which was good. But we could tell that the owner was not a very good operator, right? He was the landlord and he probably had the building for like 20, 30 years. Essentially, he just put the worst of the worst tenants. I think he literally, like you have to like purposely find tenants that bad to end up with the kind of tenants that he had. So essentially, we bought the building. We went to the building to sign the leases, and we were asking the tenants, like, "Hey, is everything good? Anything we should know about? Anything we should fix?" And that's when we figure out the bed bug problem. And as you may know, that is not a very good problem to have. So, long story short, we ended up getting it fixed, but I never had to deal with bed bugs prior to this, so it was a learning experience. When we walked the building, we noticed that on the baseboards around pretty much all the perimeter of the room, there was this like powder stuff, and it was just weird. I didn't know if it was like just the tenants were dirty or what the deal with that stuff was. So we asked the landlord, and at first he kind of said, because he's the one that was showing us around the property, first he said that it was due to ants. So I was like, well, that's weird. Never seen that stuff used, but hey, whatever, right? This guy's old school. He probably mixed up some, like, I don't know, flour and salt, and I don't even know what he would have mixed up. But anyway, so our last walkthrough, we went to walk through there, and again, I asked, and I was like, "Hey man, it's kind of weird. Well, what was that for?" He's like, "Oh well, this unit has like a bed bug problem, and it's not. It's been taken care of." So again, I never had to deal with bed bugs before, so I was like, "Okay, whatever, let's go," right? And then we find out that there was a problem, and it was in 5 of the 7 units, which is not good. But we fixed it. So here's what we did to fix it. To be able to fix it, you can do different treatments. So you can do like chemical treatments, and they spray all the stuff, and then they got to come back and do it like multiple times. And the reason that it doesn't work is like pretty much the ones that are out, it kills those. But the bed bugs lay eggs where during the day they hide, at night they come out and eat, right? So they pretty much lay their eggs, so that chemical only kills the ones that are hatched. So the only true way to get rid of this stuff of bed bugs is to hire an exterminator that is experienced in dealing with this, right? So the spray and all that stuff, it only goes so far. The actual way to do it is they took each apartment unit. The tenants had to leave for, I think, pretty much the whole day, and they took the unit and they heated it up to 140 or 130 degrees for I don't know how long a time, and they had to do all this stuff to like prep it and like make sure it was ready. So, and they didn't heat it with the furnace, obviously, right? The exterminator brought in big fans and these big like heaters, and I think they were like, some of them were like electric heaters, some of them were like propane or some sort of like fuel, like some sort of fuel heaters to be able to get those temperatures up to that high. So the temperatures had to go up that high, and then once they were up that high, they needed to essentially be able to hold that temperature for X amount of time to make sure that pretty much it killed off everything. So that's the only true way to do it. The units were smaller. It was, I think, like $600 a unit, right, to do it. The spray stuff is usually much, much cheaper, right? But that is part of fixing it. And I guess we'll talk about later how we were able to get the owner to be able to pay for some of that, the previous owner, because that should have been said on the disclosures, right? Because bed bugs count as an infestation and a pretty bad one at that. So anyway, I hope that you never have to deal with it, but it is something that you should look for when you're walking buildings, when you're walking even homes, right? Just look for weird stuff, like stuff that's out of the ordinary, like that powder stuff. I should have raised some flags in my head, but it didn't, right? Because I didn't know about it. So if you're ever walking a place and something's out of the ordinary, pry and ask questions until you actually get an answer, either from the owner or from someone, and try to get that stuff resolved before you close, because after you close, everything is way more expensive. It just takes way longer to get the result that you should be getting. So learn from me, right? That's the point of this, is to learn from my mistakes, so that way you don't do it when you buy your building or whatever you're buying. So anyway, those units are all done. They're all rented. They're going from like $400 a month to like $650 to $700, and it's going to be a great building. So I have to do a walkthrough video of the building here shortly, because it's almost done with the remodeling and fixing and all the stuff that we're doing there to turn it. So I'll be posting that shortly. But anyway, let me know if you've ever had to deal with some sort of weird, crazy thing that you've never had to deal with before, and what you learned dealing with that surprise of an issue. So now I'm like a bed bug expert, which is weird because I did a whole bunch of studying on it. But anyway, if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you on the next one.